corner, hit a bit of a bump and well,
Petter Solberg was upright, but all was not well with the car. He had hydraulic problems, and time lost with this spin didn't help either. This was yet another rally where Petter could have been in the fight for the front if he hadn't been dogged with problems, and the frustration was clear to see. Colin McRae felt so sorry for the Norwegian he went to offer some words of comfort.
Petter, you're looking really disappointed. What happened this morning?
Everything. I'm working so hard every time, and it's always something is happening. And
there were no worries for McRae. The Ford Focus is notoriously strong and thrives in these conditions. He was leading. But Marcus was chasing. The gap between them after 2 days hard driving was a mere 26 seconds. Gronholm returned to service, playing down his chances of snatching the win from McRae.
It's maybe a little bit too much, but let's see. Everything is possible.
He may have said it was too much, but he didn't drive like that. He charged into day 3. At the end of the morning's first stage, he'd cut McRae's lead by half. Just 13 seconds was between them. McRae's been world champion once, but that was back in 1995. He knows these rough rallies are his best chance of getting the title back. Determined to keep Gronholm at bay, he pushed, hoping to extend his lead.
Okay, we cleared the stage. Unfortunately, we rolled in there. We've lost the power steering. Other than that, it's not driving too badly.
The roll cost him the lead. He was now 5 seconds behind the Finn. It's times like these that the boys back in service really earn their money. All they needed to do was get the car fixed and ready for the road in just 20 minutes, and they did it. McRae was back out, knowing if he continued to push, he could take back the lead. But then he rolled again.
Colin, you're still in the rally.
Yeah, we're still in, but I think we dropped about 2 minutes. Yeah, we've got no wipers, that's the problem, so I hope the rain stays off.
No wipers looked like the least of McRae's worries, but at least the wheels were pointing in the right direction. With the lead handed over to Gronholm, there was a big fight going on for second place. Richard Burns was just over a second behind Tommy Mäkinen. The Finn desperately needed to score big points to keep his hopes alive, and he was pushing hard to stay ahead of the Peugeot. Burns flew through the last stage and made it safely to the end of the rally.
Richard finished the stage.
All Mäkinen had to do to secure second was keep up with Burns' pace. But a spin on the last corner of the rally meant second place was lost to Burns. But the relief to have finished was obvious to see. So after 3 full-on days of thrills and spills, it ended like this. Colin McRae on the leaderboard, but not at the top of it. He handed the victory to Marcus Gronholm. And the Finn extends his lead in the World Championship title race. With Peugeot way out in front in the manufacturer's title race, the big fight's between Subaru and Ford for second. The only WRC event to take place in the continent of South America, Rally Argentina is a high-altitude challenge. Up here, engine power sapped. The soft surfaces break up, littering the stages with rocks. But the best feature of all are the countless water splashes. Northwest of Buenos Aires, Argentina's capital, is the town of Cordoba, the rally's centre. But most of the action takes place in the dramatic landscapes of the Sierra Grande Mountains. Catch me if you can is the message coming from Marcus Gronholm to his closest rivals, teammate Richard Burns. Colin McRae, who handed victory over to Gronholm in Cyprus, Carlos Sainz, Tommy Mäkinen and Petter Solberg. And they're going to try. Argentines are rally mad and turn up in their thousands to catch a glimpse of the action. They were to be richly rewarded. This was going to be one of the most action-packed rallies of 2002. Gronholm laid down the challenge on the first stage, setting the fastest time. Through one of the very first water splashes, Richard Burns gets water in his engine. And from the clock, it's clear to see he was losing time.
Close it through that one.
Yeah, I close it through everyone.
Last year, Argentina kick-started a great winning streak for Colin McRae, but history wasn't destined to repeat itself. The spin cost him so much time, he slipped down to 12th. There's no doubt that Petter Solberg's going to win a WRC event, but his bad luck is making it a frustratingly long wait. But no problems on the opening day meant he was in there, fighting for a podium place with Carlos Sainz. Things were looking up for Tommy Mäkinen. He was fighting for victory. This is Juha Kankkunen, 4 times world champion and rally legend. He was in 7th place when he went off into a ditch. And he was stuck fast. Teammate Freddie Loix passes his stricken teammate. He'd impressed everyone with the fastest stage time at the end of the first day. At the start of the second day, everything was set for a great battle between 2 Finns. It's not often Gronholm's car lets him down, but on the morning's first stage, he had hydraulic problems. Mäkinen pounced, driving with a determination that brought him 4 world titles, steadily shaving seconds off Gronholm. By the end of the day, Mäkinen snatched the lead by a whisker. Just half a second separated them. Sitting comfortably behind them was Richard Burns in 3rd. Peugeot's fighting for the podium is becoming a familiar story, and team boss Corrado Provero doesn't mind that one bit. This was it, the big fight for first. Gronholm was first away, trying to catch Mäkinen and retake that lead. And he did. Just 3 stages to go, and Mäkinen was going to have to give it everything he'd got. The pictures from Petter Solberg's car are never dull. More than anyone, he seems prone to problems that are just downright bizarre. That silence is the intercom between him and co-driver Phil Mills breaking down. That was especially bad as Carlos Sainz was bearing down on Petter's 4th place. Now this is what maximum attack looks like. Mäkinen going flat out. Victory here would be fantastic for his title chances.
Off in last corner, stage number 21. We are okay, Car is badly damaged. Last corner.
That was one of the biggest smashes of Mäkinen's career, and it was totally unnecessary because this rally was about to take another twist. Marcus Gronholm had had trouble starting his car in the morning. He consulted his engineers, and that was deemed illegal. After 3 days of hard fighting, the Finn came back to muted celebrations. To be told, he was disqualified. As was Richard Burns for another technicality. Handing the win over to Carlos Sainz, the 24th of his career. Only Tommy Mäkinen has won as many rallies. Marcus Gronholm is still our championship leader, but the 10 points for Sainz bring him up to 3rd. So no points for the Peugeots here, but a great drive from Tony Gardemeister brings him and Skoda their first points of the season. Martin Wilkinson has one of the most challenging jobs in rally. He's the man in charge of all the work done in each service on Colin McRae's car.
We get on quite well together. I think you need to be able to trust each other so that he can trust that if he wants me to do something then it's going to be done properly. It all starts months before each rally. We always work another rally ahead of ourselves organising the parts to come in the trucks, whatever components we might need. If it's going to be a rough rally and you expect a lot of damage to the cars, then you just have to make sure that the parts that you expect to damage or know you could damage, that you've got sufficient for them. We've normally got 5 or 6 people specifically working on each car, and there's basically one guy in each corner of the car where the wheels are. There's one guy in the engine bay and there's another guy, which we call a floater, who works generally everywhere on the car if there's a problem.
It's a high-pressure job. With just 20 minutes to get the car fixed and back into competition, not a second can be wasted. It needs to be coordinated with military precision.
Right, just relax, you've got loads of time left now. It's okay. You've got plenty of time, 11 minutes. Your link's on the bottom of the drive shaft there. Right, don't snap the bolt. Clear? 4 minutes, boys. Right, come out as soon as you're ready, boys. Want the wheels on. Yeah, it does get a bit hectic. It's just because it's such a short time from finding out what you have to do to actually doing it. We're just a bit trying to organise everything, but no, it was okay. It went well.
Service is a very important part of the next round of the World Championship. Rally Greece hit the scene in the 1950s and immediately earned a reputation as a car breaker. Thanks to a ceremonial start under the world-famous Parthenon, this rally's better known as the Acropolis. From the Greek capital, it continues up the coast and into the mountains based near the town of Itea. No one wants to be first out on the gravel roads. That makes you the sweeper, clearing a line for the cars behind. It was very bad news for Marcus Gronholm. He was down in 10th. A win for Carlos Sainz here would give him a record number of 25 victories and put him into the thick of the title race. Colin McRae's record on the Acropolis is second to none. He was the favourite to win it, if he could stay in the road. When you see Petter Solberg, you know that he's either going to be very fast or something weird's about to happen.
30. Right minus time to keep in, 30. Get the two! For the steering? Yeah. It's in the back. Okay, see what I can do.
Fixing your steering and still driving. It's all part of the WRC.
It's completely tight. Okay.
All was not well in Tommy Mackinnon's car either. On these very rough stages, you really need the power steering, and Mackinnon's was broken. He fought with the car for over 20 kilometres. Perhaps the strain was just too much. And Mackinnon retired. Benefiting from the road sweeping of his more experienced colleagues was Marco Martin. This promising young star was leading the rally. It all started very well for the Hyundais too. Freddie Loix was second, and Armin Schwartz was on his way to scoring manufacturers' points. But Juha Kankinen was forced to retire with an electrical problem, and it was bad news too for Freddie. Urgent repairs in service overran. He picked up a time penalty and dropped out of the podium places. That meant that it was now Colin McRae who was chasing his teammate Marco Martin. On board with Martin. Listen carefully. That's the sound of his shredded tyre. 3 minutes was lost trying to change the wheel. Martin's anguish, all too painful to witness.
No, basically we got the puncture just like that, without hitting anything, and just it was so bad that we had to stop and change it, because otherwise we would have broken the suspension and something. So it's a long way to go. So lost many minutes, I think, because it's not so easy with that.
Martin might have saved his suspension, but Burns couldn't.
Yeah, there is suspension broken. We're driving, but we're driving very slowly, and I want to know if I should stop. It's quite hard to keep the car on the road. If I should stop, if I slow down Colin. The lower lateral arm is just snapped.
Okay, we have no spare in the car. Sorry about that. Thank you for all you have done so far.
Burns was out, and McRae could hardly believe his eyes. So the last thing he wanted was to go off. So close, but this time he saved it. Just look at the wheel arch. He'd knocked it onto the tyre and emergency repairs were needed.
Shouldn't be too much of a problem now. We've sort of pushed the arch out of the arch out of the tyre, so we should be able to continue, no problem.
Second place Marcus Gronholm must have been wondering if McRae was about to hand him another win.
3 left, tightens. Into 3 left plus tightens. And 6 right over crest 30, left tightens, 3 plus.
Safely home. McRae's first win of the year.
Yo, dude. Wicked. That should be enough.
24 seconds the margin between first and second. In the final point-scoring position, Marco Martin. But Ford Champagne was reserved for McRae, and it was plain to see how good the victory was feeling.
You got that vital win, you must be absolutely delighted.
Yeah, it's great. It's something that we really needed at this point in the season for the championship, and hopefully there's going to be a few more.
What is it about you in this rally? That's 5 wins in 7 years now. It's terrific.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just one of these things. It's a rally we've got right. No real reason why, but it's just going our way.
So once again, it's a rough rally that brings McRae's title hopes to life, and with the roughest of them all coming next, he must be feeling good. And just look at what those 2 podium places have done for Ford's manufacturers' battle. Welcome to the African wilderness. Welcome to safari country. What you're about to see is one of motorsport's last great adventures. Competition largely takes place on open roads, meaning anything can wander into the path of the oncoming cars. To give the drivers warning of any hazards, they each have their own spotter helicopter. To warn the people that they're coming, the cars are fitted with extra super bright headlights. A sudden downpour can turn water splashes into lakes, so snorkels are fitted to the air intakes to stop the engines drowning. You can see why this rally's so demanding. This is a typical African stage. Dusty, rough and rutted, but still speeds reach 200 kilometres an hour. Round 8 of the WRC is the championship's only visit to Africa, and it's run entirely in the Great Rift Valley. The stages are monsters. The longest is over 100 kilometres, so you have to be pretty fit to survive. First in the title race and first onto the stage, this is Marcus Gronholm. He was also first to retire.
FX, the engine stopped.
Suddenly the engine stopped. We don't know what the problem. Probably a camshaft. Just stop.
Peter Solberg's frustrating year continued in Kenya. While teammate Tommy Mäkinen went into an early lead, Solberg suffered problems from the start.
I feel we should lift the bonnet and check the clutch rod, but I'm waiting for confirmation from Pierre.
Just keep going a little bit more then. Is it here, is it? Okay, we do that.
Now it's not much more to say. It's incredible, I can't believe it. Clutch broke from the start, 100 meters after start. Can't believe it.
Back at service, a whole new gearbox was awaiting Solberg, and amazingly the mechanics changed it in just 11 minutes. But it was in vain. Petter retired again. Thomas Radstrom made the most dramatic entrance into service. He knocked his wheel off and found yet another use for his co-driver, Dennis Girardet. The Swede would go on to finish the rally in third place, a great safari debut for Citroën. Colin McRae was on a charge and using some unconventional methods to gain extra speed. With Gronholm out, McRae realised a win here would make him a real threat to the Finn. So he was determined. Nothing was going to stand in the way of him and a maximum 10 points.
70. Donkey in the middle of the road round the corner.
Okay. 6 right, 200.
Carlos Sainz's problems needed immediate attention. He had a puncture and had to stop the car to fix it.
Flat right 40, flat right 40.
Problems with Richard Burns' car were forcing him to take it easy. Tommy Mäkinen had started the stage just a few minutes after Burns, and it wasn't long before he caught the Englishman. Knowing Mäkinen was behind him, Burns moved over so he wouldn't slow the Finn down. But Mäkinen was to have more to worry about than being caught in Burns' dust trail. Just look at that wheel. It was now Mäkinen's turn to be caught.
The message from Subaru management is when you are within 200 metres, Tommy will pull over and let you pass.
But in Tommy's car, there's radio silence.
Does he know we're right behind him?
Yeah, we've told them. We're telling them again.
Into 6 left, 70.
Get him to pull over.
Steady now. Yeah, fast hold.
Very good, Tommy.
We passed Tommy, but we were unfortunately stuck in his dust for a long time. And then when we did manage to get right on his tail, he wouldn't move over either, so it wasn't very sporting of him.
Colin,
Bring it in, Cole.
I'm very sorry. We have no information at all. I was angry when you passed. I said, ask what the hell you do, why you didn't inform. We had no information at all that you are behind. I'm very sorry that. And it was also very dangerous place. Of course I could pull out straight away. It was not my target to try to keep you behind. Sorry that.
Okay, there's no information then.
It was really, we have something wrong with our radio. I'm sorry, very sorry about that.
Stress too for Richard Burns. On his way into service, his car had become lodged in soft dirt that lined the road. Burns had to be in service at a certain time or he'd be out of the rally, and the clock was ticking. He and Robert Reid tried everything to get the car moving again, but the frustration when nothing works is painfully clear to see. The car was going nowhere. No points for the world champion, and it was a huge blow to his championship chances. That left Peugeot's chance to their gravel expert Harry Rovanperä, and he wouldn't disappoint. He was on his way to second place. Mäkinen's lead in this rally was long gone, but there were still points to push for. After so much hard work, suspension failure finally forced the Finn's retirement. His 6th from 8 rallies.
Does this retirement means the end of your championship, Tommy?
Yeah, it looked very bad. It looked very bad. It was not a good day for us.
Colin McRae would have plenty to smile about at the end of the rally. He survived and was fastest, and now Marcus Gronholm's championship lead was within reach.
Okay.
Spot on, boys. Well done.
8 hours of driving over that tortuous terrain brings victory to Colin McRae, and it also means he breaks the record for the most WRC wins.
Colin, how does it feel to be the most successful World Rally driver ever?
Great. I mean, the important thing is the win here, but to have 25 wins is something, you know, a bit special. It's quite a nice record to have.
Probably more important in McRae's mind right now is the 7 points that stand between him and Gronholm in the title fight, and Ford is looking to threaten Peugeot in the manufacturer's race. So he's now the most successful driver of all time. It's time to find out what makes Colin McRae so good.
I was always interested in motorsport, so I was kind of halfway there already. Obviously, with my father being involved, I knew an awful lot about the sport before I actually got involved in it myself, so which helped a great deal. As soon as I sat behind the wheel, I felt really comfortable with it. I mean, I never had to think about what I was going to do. I just, go as quickly as possible from A to B, and it all just seemed to happen. So it was a very natural talent.
McRae's flamboyant style makes him one of the most exciting drivers to watch and one of the fans' favourites.
Did you like that? How? How are you on those jumps?
Everybody approaches it in a different way. I would always sort of go over the limit and then you can come back. And I think doing that, you find the limit a lot quicker. If you start to build up to it very, very slowly, you might never get to it, you never have the confidence. So that's just the way I am. I always really sort of attack things to the maximum and then sort it out afterwards.
McRae's success has brought him a millionaire lifestyle and superstar status.
It's a great sport, it's very exciting, and at the end of the day, I'm a true competitor. I would rather compete, and I need that, and I still need it, and I'm sure I will in years to come. Just the challenge and the sort of satisfaction of being quicker than someone else.
Finland is the spiritual home of rallying. The country's produced more world champions than any other, and it's the nation's national sport. Once called the Rally of 1,000 Lakes, the route weaves its way through the myriad of deep blue lakes that dot the Finnish countryside. The ancient glaciers that made those lakes also shape the rally roads, leaving behind undulations that, when taken at almost 200 kilometres an hour, turn the stage into a roller coaster of spectacular jumps. It's the dozens of jumps that draw the fans away from the parties in the rally's hometown of Jyväskylä and onto the stages, rising at dawn, queuing for hours just to get a glimpse of their heroes. You're about to see why this rally's so spectacular. Marcus Gronholm is supreme on his home event. This is such a difficult rally to drive, but Gronholm makes it look so easy. Not everything was going his way though. Being first on the road meant he was road sweeping again. He wasn't the fastest. The fastest car was Richard Burns' 206. Burns knew he needed a win soon if he was to keep the number one on his door, and he planned to take advantage of Gronholm's problems in front. He was driving at 100%. But it was when he launched himself into this jump that it all went wrong.
I took a jump quickly in the last stage, and it was like 5k into 35k stage. And when we landed, it landed very hard on the nose of the car, and it's we lost boost, lost the intercooler, or crushed an intercooler pipe or something, and we had no power to the end of the stage.
Burns also lost the lead, which he handed over to his other teammate, Harry Rovanperä. Peugeot had promised no team orders, and Harry would have loved to win in front of his home crowd. But it wasn't to be. A puncture left Rovanperä driving on his rim. Check out the damage to the car. There was no way he could continue, and Gronholm took the lead. Tommy Mäkinen wanted to go flat out, but his car wouldn't let him. His engine felt soft, and he was off the pace. But after his string of retirements, it was a relief to finally finish a rally, and he got a point for his efforts. Juha Kankkunen is so big in Finland that he lives on Juha Kankkunen Drive. But even the greatest drivers fall foul of these slippery surfaces. Thomas Radström's from neighbouring Sweden, but his local knowledge wouldn't help him keep his Citroën on the road either. Colin McRae was Gronholm's biggest threat in the title race, but not in this rally. He simply couldn't keep up with the Peugeots. But he was the best of the rest, and lying in third, setting himself up nicely to take 4 valuable points. But when the focus started filling with smoke, neither McRae nor Grist knew why. Despite all the efforts of the Ford duo and the Finnish fire service, the flames took hold.
Send a car. This car is fully on fire.
So Gronholm was on his way to another win, and McRae on his way home with nothing. Carlos Sainz was now looking to grab that final podium place, but he'd have to catch Petter Solberg first. The Norwegian was pushing so hard, he claimed he couldn't go any faster.
18. 6 left, minus, tightens minus of a crest.
Carlos was just 1 second behind him, but to the relief of Solberg, he held the Spaniard off.
Very happy, very happy. This is like a victory for me.
For Marcus Gronholm, it was a true victory. Once again, he'd been ready to pounce when others had problems, and once again, he'd be rewarded with 10 points. So confirmation of the result. Marcus takes a comfortable win over Richard Burns and Petter Solberg. With just 5 rallies to go, McRae, Sainz, Burns and Solberg are going to have to work hard to catch him. In the Manufacturers' Championship, another Peugeot 1-2 keeps them in the lead. Trier is the oldest city in Germany, but the home of the newest addition to rallying's top level, WRC Rally Deutschland. It's a thrilling spectacle for the fans. Buses take them to the best spots where they can watch the drama unfold before their very eyes. And when the excitement's over, there's plenty of ways to relax too. Just like any other rally, there are 3 days of competition, but every day is unique. It's like tackling 3 different rallies. Tommy Mäkinen was probably wishing he could have stayed at home. On the first stage, his handbrake snapped off. With lots of hairpins ahead, that was very bad news. Colin McRae didn't have a great start either. With his title hopes fading, he didn't need to overshoot this junction. Colin wasn't happy. It was clear that his relationship with co-driver Nicky Griss was getting a little strained.
Colin, you picked up a 10-second penalty. What happened there?
Maybe you should ask the Welsh wizard.
But McRae would at least finish the rally in the points, unlike teammate Carlos Sainz. He'd come home 8th, not a good result for his title aspirations. Mitsubishi have had a poor season, and it was to continue here.
The engine's going, I'm not sure, there's lots of smoke coming out the back.